What's good, everybody? Welcome to episode 2 of Tap In Mondays with me, Marvin Bagley. This week's episode is something that I have lived personally. I got a feeling that a lot of you have too, so let's tap in. The question of the day is, what is success and how would you define it? When I was younger, my definition of success looked completely different than what it does now. My goal was always make it to the NBA, be at the top of the top, be, one of the best players, be, all of these things that come along with that dream. That's what I was working toward my whole life. I expected to feel like I made it. I expected it to be having money and having cars, having a couple houses for your family and yourself and all those things that you see and, on TV and movies and the lifestyle that you hear about. I expected that to, make me feel fulfilled. That's the life you want, right? Like that's, it all sounds good and, you see what comes with it. Those things were always in the back of my mind as I was working toward my goal, and my love and passion for basketball was always there. But you would have those thoughts and ideas of what life may look like. They will always slip into my mind, and I would catch myself chasing after those things and, wanting those things a little bit too much, and going through every stage, high school, college, finally getting to the NBA draft where you hear your name being called. That's like whoa, like wow, like everything that I've been working toward was finally about to come true. And life, it changes like that fast. People around you, you see your family back home, friends back home, happy for you, congratulating you. And outside of that, doors start to open up that I couldn't have imagined growing up. Going to the NBA and being an NBA player comes with a lot of responsibility. And I didn't understand that until I was in it finally, and I had everything that I wanted to have, and I had all of the money, cars, attention from fans, attention from brands, women, all of these things that you hear about and you see about. It was all finally here. After a while, it kind of started to feel like tiring. I kind of started to feel like there had to be more out there for me. I didn't understand it. I didn't understand why. I didn't really know why. Like I said, I had everything that I wanted. I had, everything that I could have imagined for. I didn't feel fulfilled. I didn't feel happy. I didn't feel like I was aligned with my purpose. It was so much more to what I'm doing and the path that God has set me on than being rich and being in these rooms with all of these people. It's much more than that. And I didn't realize that until I started to feel that empty feeling on the inside and kind of lonely in a sense, to where I feel like no one really around me could relate to my life and my feelings. And I would hold a lot of stuff in and not talk about it. And it was definitely a lonely, place to be. And that kind of leads me into my first point, which is, the world's definition of success is completely broken. I can say that because I have gotten to the point where I've had success, I've had money, I've had all the worldly things that people glorify and people go after, and I still felt like something was missing. I still felt off. I felt like something was wrong. I didn't understand this until, I opened myself to God, and I opened myself up to understand and hear from God in terms of what my purpose was. I know I was talented. I know my gifts were undeniable. I knew all these things. I was able to show them, through the court, with my music. I was able to do all these things, and I didn't understand why he had given me these gifts though. And once I really, peeled the layers back and broke them down, I came to the conclusion that the Lord gave me gifts and gave me these talents to affect others and affect the ones around me, affect the ones that I don't know. Give me these gifts to be on a platform large enough that people already know me for this, but I can affect them in other ways through these gifts. And I didn't get that until I had to, be willing to sit down and hear from God and ask him, what am I here for? I'm here for something. I feel it. It's obvious, but what is really the reason you gave me these gifts for? Like early on in my career, I got to the point where I had everything I wanted. I had everything I dreamed of, I dreamed for, everything that I saw coming with being in the NBA and being in this, on this platform. I had it, and I still felt unfulfilled. As crazy as it sounds, I still felt like something was missing. I still felt like there was more out there for me. And that kind of got me to start thinking, like, if I got to this point and I have everything and I still feel this way, am I really successful? Is this really success? And I had to dig deep. I had to dig deep into my mind, into my spirit. I had to open myself up to God's voice, to hear him and be receptive of his guidance. Just had this thought, like, if I'm not feeling happy with everything that I wanted, there's something else out there that could give me fulfillment. One of the most dangerous things that we can do as humans is tie our identity into our achievements. And I know some of you are like, what do you mean by that? Or why do you think that? And I say this because if you tie your identity into a goal or an achievement and you finally reach that goal and that was all that was on your mind, you start to lose direction. You get to that place and it's like, now what? Like, what do I do now? Who am I as a person? Who do I want to be? I thought I was this goal or achievement, but it's not what I thought it would be, right? That's a dangerous place, and you can get in this cycle. That's why you see a lot of professional athletes retire. They don't know what to do with themselves. We hear stories about, athletes all the time, going into retirement, and it's a whole different world from what they're used to because, their whole career path or whatever they were doing, that was who they were. That's who they connected themselves with. And at the end of the day, also why I say it's a dangerous thing is because a lot of these things, they're not going to be here forever. Whatever career path you're on, whatever, you're trying to do or get to, everything has an expiring clock on it. You can enjoy it while it's here, but at, some point you're not going to have it. And when you don't have it, do you have something else to fall back on? Do you have real morals and real values to lean on within yourself to then guide you into the next part of your purpose? How do you find that? I've even had this question, like, how do I find my purpose in life? What do you need to do to be able to find your purpose? And I wouldn't sit here and say I have a complete answer for you in that, but something that has helped me personally is, I mentioned it before, is being open to hearing God, like being open to hearing his voice, being open to him telling you what needs to go in your life, what needs to stay in your life, what needs to get better in your life, and just following that. It's easy, to sit here and say that, and it gets hard at times, but at the end of the day, it's worth it because no one knows our past more than him. God has guided me to this point to where I had to tap into my purpose, and now I don't look for validation anymore. I don't look for who's liking what or whatever it is. Like, I don't care. And I know that my purpose now is to take these gifts that God has given me and blessed me with, to obviously put them into my craft, which is basketball and music. Outside of that, you take that away, I'm cool. Like, I'm cool. I understand who I am as a person. I still know what my purpose is, and that's to help people. My identity is rooted in Christ and in God. And that is, when you get to that point, it's like nothing else in the world, I wouldn't say matters, but I'm not going to be tripping off of the small things in life. You're not going to be worried about, the small things in life because your identity is not in something that can be here today and gone tomorrow. When I have my identity rooted in performance and my achievements, it almost felt like life was a roller coaster for me. Like, life was up and down. It was never steady. It was never in one spot, for too long. And I realized it was because, I'm working toward being the best basketball player that I can be. And that was my main focus. And that was what I put all of my effort, my time, my energy, my thoughts. I wake up, think about hoop. Go to sleep thinking about hoop. I'm walking around middle of the day, I'm thinking about hoop. That's who I am. That's my identity. And if hoop wasn't going great for me, my attitude would be bad. I wouldn't be the person I needed to be for my family, my friends, my girlfriend at the time. It wasn't steady. It was always rooted in if I was doing well or not. Because if I was doing well, I'm in the best mood possible. I'm ready to do anything and everything. I'm happy. I'm vibing. But if it was the opposite, it was just like, I don't want to do nothing today. I don't feel like doing much. I just want to be by myself a lot. I just want to, be in my thoughts, be in my head. And it was never steady. And that was messing with me a lot until I had that mind switch where it was like, you know what? I'm not going to let what I do dictate how I live my life outside of it. When I did that, it was life changing for me because now, like I said, I don't care what people think. I used to look up on Twitter what people would say about me after a game or just in general, people's still type and talk about these things, and I would let that really dictate my thoughts and be in my mind. And now I don't care, man, because I'm not rooted in that. I don't care about what you think about me. I don't care about how you feel about something that I'm doing that's not hurting anyone. As long as I'm aligned with my purpose and I'm helping the people around me and others around the world, that's all that matters to me. So that switch, definitely helped get me to this point in my life a lot. Knowing your identity, man, is finding that out and actually knowing what it is and being rooted in that. It leads into point 3, which is real success is an inside job. And what I mean by that is your values, your character, your relationships, what else you can think of, having those things in order and those things in line, your relationship with God in line, everything all in line, aligned with your purpose. That is fulfillment to me. That's what it looks like. You can have all of the external successes and the things that come with whatever you're doing and your profession is, but when you really take a step back and look what's on the inside, are you happy? Are you feeling like who you are behind the title, the job title, or whatever it is that person enough? Is that person mentally happy, just around the right people, around the right groups, environments, all these things? Is that person, good enough to go out in life and still impact the world in a positive way and use the gifts that God has given you to bless the world with? Is that person enough? I mean, if you can honestly answer yes, that's what success looks like to me. And I think I've gotten to that point to where you can take away music, you can take away basketball, and although those are things that I love and things that I put time into every day, I know that without it, I still would be living my life to the best. I still have good, solid people around me that love and care about me. I still have things that I don't do. I know what my character is. I know what my values are. I know what my integrity is. And those things are the most important, man. It's if you don't have those things and you get all these the extra successes and things that come with it, it won't even matter because you're not in a place to really enjoy it and in a place to really make the most of it and use it for good. A verse that has helped me with this topic and idea is Mark 8:36. And it's, what good is it for someone to gain the world yet forfeit their soul? And that ties into everything that I've been saying. I got to the NBA and got everything that I wanted. Everything was all right in front of me. Could do anything I wanted to do, get in any door I wanted to get into. But along with that, I felt like I lost track of who I was as a person. You kind of lose your soul a little bit. And that's where I was at in that time of my life. I had this plan and path set out for me, and I was going away from it. I was getting distant from God and getting distant from, the real purpose in my life. Once I understood that and understood that I don't want anything that doesn't come from God, and if it does come from God, I want to make sure that I take it and never take it for granted and take care of it and bless other people with it. I honestly can tell you guys, it's been so much more peaceful in my life. I've been living a way more peaceful life, knowing that no matter what happens, no matter what goes on, I'm good, man. I'm good. God has blessed me with more than enough. He can bless you with more than enough. We just got to give him time. We just got to give him time, and we just got to open our hearts to him and open our minds and change our thoughts and understand that our thoughts are not his thoughts. Our ways are not his ways. And once we understand that and let him work, you'll start to see the growth and really take those steps to grow and get more aligned in your purpose. The takeaway for this week, something that I want you guys to do is to write down 3 things that genuinely make you feel fulfilled. None of them could be achievements. I want you guys to really dig deep and think deeper than that. And yeah, just see what opens up in your mind, what opens up in your heart. Just follow that and lean into it. So what does success actually mean to you? Drop it in the comments. I want to know. I genuinely want to know. Like I said last week, this is a place where nobody should feel ashamed to speak up and engage with what we're talking about every week. And so yeah, drop it in the comments. If this episode hit for you, subscribe. Every Monday we here having these conversations. So if you like what you're seeing, tap in to Tap In Mondays. See y'all next week.